In this video, we're going to talk about how to add some documentation to your function. So we're going to use the example from the last video where we're just defining a very simple function called sum, and we're just saying that it's going to be a plus b, and so we're just adding two numbers together here, and there we go. So that is about as minimal a function as you can get. So what does that look like when we try to get help on this function? Because Rebol has built-in help for all the mezzanine functions and built-in functions that exist in the interpreter out of the box, but it also keeps track of functions that you define and provides help for them. So let's look at that. We're going to use the question mark, which we could also say help there. So help sum, and there we go. So that looks very familiar as far as the layout of the help. It's basically just saying this is how you use it. It's undocumented, and it has two arguments. So let's start adding layering in some documentation. The first thing we want to do is let's just describe what the function does, and that is it sums two supplied arguments. There we go. And I'm embedding this documentation in the argument block of the function definition. So let's redefine our function here. And now let's look at some help. And now you'll notice under the description, instead of saying undocumented, it gives the description that we just supplied. So that's kind of helpful, but let's continue on. Of course, when you're writing your code in an editor, you can format this much better than I'm doing right now. This is mainly just to keep it on one line. So let's define our two arguments now. Let's put a little description for that. We're just going to put a string after the word for each argument. So this is going to be, we're not going to be very creative here. First argument and second argument. Alright. Once again, let's look at our built-in help. And you'll notice that Rebol can look at that function definition and then pull out information in its help function. So now the description is the same, and then under arguments it's showing our descriptive labels there for each of the arguments, first argument, second argument. So that's good. And that's just a quick overview of how you can embed some documentation. So let's move on now to doing some type checking. So you notice we're doing an a plus b there. That implies a math operation. So what happens if you put in a string instead of numbers? So let's just say we're going to put in, let's see what happens if we try to sum a and b. And there we go. We've got an error, a script error. It says cannot use add on a string value, and it's kind of giving us a little indication of where that's at. It's right near the plus b. So it was okay with that first argument, but then when I tried to do a plus something, that's where it took offense to that. So let's refine our function definition to only allow a number. And I think in this case we can allow integers and decimals, not just integers. So we're going to put that as a block right after each of the arguments. So let's just say in the block we're going to put number. So we're going to say, basically what we're saying is this argument a can be a number, and it can't be anything but a number. And we're going to do the same thing for b. We're just going to allow numbers. So you can see how this function definition is kind of building out, little by little, in a very consistent Rebol-like manner using blocks. And let's go ahead and accept that. And now let's look at our help again. And you'll notice that arguments now has a little more description there in that section saying, okay, this is a, we were describing it as the first argument, and it can be of a type number. So let's try that out. Let's try again with our trying to sum two character strings together. And now it's telling you something a little more descriptive. It's still an error, of course, but it's saying, hey, sum does not allow string for its a argument. And if we did that for B, we would get a similar thing. We're going to try to sum 1 to B, and it's complaining about the second argument now, the B argument. So our 1 plus 1 works, and our 1, let's try decimals. That works nicely. And let's see, what are some other, let's try, let's see if it'll accept a money as a number. So let's try to add $1 to $2. So it doesn't like that. It doesn't see money as a number. So let's get some help on number and see what it does allow. Let's get help on number. And it says number is a typeset. Oh, it's not a data type. It's a typeset of values. So it's a collection of data types, and it is allowing integers, decimals, and percents. So we haven't tried that yet. Let's try 5%, 10%. Ooh, that's interesting. It actually pulled out to way out on a decimal place. That doesn't look right. That looks like it should just come right to 15. But anyway, so it is allowing those three things. So let's say now that we really want to add money as another data type that it will sum, because obviously we can sum money. That just makes sense. So let's refine our function definition again. And really it's just adding another word to this block right here. So we're going to add in money. So we're going to say it can be a number, which we know what number is now, what that range is. And we're also going to allow money. Okay. And all that other stuff looks good. So once again, we've redefined the sum function. And now you can see that it accepts a number and money. And if we try that out, $1 and $2, so we got $3. So now the sum function does exactly what we wanted it to do for the purposes of this video. So that's it for right now. Thank you for watching.